Darren Lynn joins us live now from Houston. Darren, I'm very far away from the United States at this moment, but when I see the look of that storm approaching that particular coastline, it's nothing short of terrifying. Tell us what is happening now on the ground. What reports are starting to come out?
Michelle, landfall for Hurricane Ida happened within the past 2 hours, and sustained winds were at 150 miles per hour, which is a Category 4 storm. At this point, we're getting reports that the wind gusts are anywhere between 100 and 150 miles an hour, which, as you can imagine, those are devastating wind gusts that will destroy buildings instantly. There's a company called CoreLogic. It's a property management data company, and they estimate that nearly 1 million homes are in the path of Ida right now. And you mentioned about Katrina being one of the costliest disasters for a hurricane in the U.S. history. Well, Katrina was at about $150 billion in damage. They're estimating at this point that Hurricane Ida could cost up to $220 billion of damage. And that's not even considering other factors such as people's safety, as you mentioned. There weren't any mandatory evacuations inland. On the coastline, about several tens of thousands of people were evacuated mandatorily. But because Ida transformed from a Category 2 to a Category 4 within a 24-hour period, both the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana were not ready for the contraflow, which is when they take the highways and roadways and turn them only one-way direction out for an exit. So that's why you just heard the mayor saying that they want people to shelter in place, stay there for the next couple hours, and possibly in the next couple of days, depending on the storm surge and how much flooding happens in that area.
Given the sheer strength of those winds alone and the size of this storm, are officials and residents expecting to see scenes of destruction? Is that a guarantee, or is there enough of a buffer area along the coast where after Hurricane Katrina, people just no longer built anything?
The buffer area is, that's just something that's a loose term, because once that storm makes landfall, anything in its path just gets mowed over, whether it be trees, whether it be power lines or homes that are in those existing areas. And New Orleans is not only near to the coastline, but New Orleans is also at or below sea level. So the levees that were built to withstand big storms, I don't think that if something happens with a storm surge where it goes beyond what the levees are, New Orleans is basically like a soup bowl. So whatever waters, floodwaters, storm surge comes through, that for the levees, for the fortified levees, that alone won't stop the flooding. So you're not just talking about the wind damage coming aboard. It's the storm surges, which they're expecting anywhere between 12 to 15 feet of storm surge along the coastline. Obviously, that will taper in, that wall of water will taper off as we go inland. But again, if you're talking 5 to 7 feet of storm surge, that's still devastating flooding. You see the video, they're sandbagging, they're boarding, but once that water comes through, that wall of water comes through, that kind of goes for naught sometimes, because again, that water is so high, and the force of the winds combining together cause for a lot of destruction, devastation of buildings, homes, and again, about 1 million homes in the path of this storm Ida between Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Yes, they're bracing for a lot of destruction because of this Category 4 storm.
That coast is one of the most vulnerable places in the United States, and that Gulf of Mexico with its warm water is nothing short of hurricane fuel. Darren, thank you. In Gaza, hundreds of Palestinians